Welcome to another episode of the BLS podcast. I'm David Choi.
I'm Bryce.
I'm Mikey.
And today we're joined here with Mr. Levesque.
Thank you for having me.
So you're the director of Deitch Leadership Institute, or DLI, so want to tell us a little about that?
Absolutely. So the DLI was founded in 2012 by a former teacher of Latin called Ron Guaza. And I came in November 2013, and I've been here ever since. So it is the brainchild of Joe Deitch. He was a graduate in 1968. He wanted to implement leadership, education, learning into the Latin experience. So I interviewed with him and the now former headmaster, Lynn Tata, and I was privileged to get an offer, and I've been here ever since. Some of the programs, really quickly. The big one is the Summer Fellowship. You guys may have heard of the CVAC Fellowship or the Ward Fellowship. We have our own called the Deitch Fellowship. Mini grants, I don't know if you've heard of those. They've been kind of morphed into something called the Student Grant Committee. If a student has a brilliant idea and just needs a little bit of seed money, we will offer them a little bit of seed money if they give us a good idea written down in a really nice kind of a formal grant proposal. I had partnered with Babson College to teach, and I do air quotes here, teach after school, not graded, not for credit, a class on entrepreneurship. Just started a couple weeks ago, and will go all the way until April. It's very popular with students. And a couple other kind of hodgepodge of programs. So we do an end of the year leadership and service celebration, because NHS was getting really, really, really big because of all the amazing things that students are doing. So I proposed to Lynn Tata, I said, let's just pull out some of the leadership and service components. She said, yes, I love it. So me and Mr. Kennelly do that every year in May, honor some of our fellows and other awards for leadership and service excellence. And then miscellaneous workshops. So I teach all the sophomores resume development. I teach all the juniors job interview skills. And then I do little workshops like LinkedIn, how to network, things like that. So yeah, it's kept me busy.
Yeah.
I got a question for you actually.
Yes.
So you said you fund projects, you give them seed money. What kind of projects are you really looking for if you want to get funded?
It's a great question. We're looking for an idea that's a little different. So if a student says, oh, I saw that in the Daily Bulletin, and can I get a little bit of money for our club? I'm like, well, probably not. Like, we're looking for big scope, big impact. So we had Pixel once approached us and said, can you buy us some tablets? I said, no, I can't just buy you tablets. I'd love to support Pixel, but there's 120 clubs here and I can't support all of them. I said, but what can we do if you got those tablets? What can we do with them where it could impact more than just Pixel? So they came back, they sent me a really nice, professional, well-written proposal. They wanted to start a digital art workshop series for all Latin students. And so they wanted the tablets where they could conduct these classes over the course of the year under the guidance of their advisor. And I said, absolutely. So I bought them tablets. And they've been running workshops for a couple of years now after school. As one example. Another example, have you guys heard of the Human Library?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes, so these young ladies a couple of years ago said we wanted, it was another program, I think it was from Norway, don't quote me. The librarians were behind it. Mr. Levesque, these girls have a great idea. This is a program that was happening in Norway. We want to bring community members to Latin and have students talk to them, almost quote unquote take them out as books and not read them but interview them so we can kind of connect with our local community. And I said that sounds brilliant, and it has by far been our most successful program. So we're drawing in local business people, people from the Red Sox, people from nonprofits, political figures. They come in and students rotate and they talk to them about what's your life like, what was your experience like, what's it like here in the Fens after 3-4 o'clock when we all go home. And it's kind of been a nice bridge to the community. So, it's a hodgepodge of ideas. So every time I get one, I have to review it. I'm like, does this have impact? Is this going to help the school in general? And some don't, because some are just brilliant. And I say, to whom do I write this small check? And thank you for your idea.
So you're basically just looking for like big ideas that'll impact like not only like the club itself but like the community.
Absolutely. Yep. Well said.
Is there like a certain theme that a lot of the ideas that you receive have, or like?
There isn't, no, and nor do I want there to be a theme. It's purposely nebulous and ill-defined. So Joe Deitch, he is all about idea meritocracy. So if you've got a brilliant idea, he doesn't care who you are, what your position is in an organization. It doesn't matter. Like, he wants to hear it. And so we always believe that there are students running around, y'all are thinking all day. There's got to be an idea you have in your head about making something better, and we want to hear it. Give it to us. We had students once work on how do we make the lines in the lunchroom faster or shorter. Things like that. Like, just how do we improve your life in a way that no one has really thought about? And not let's, people think, well, there's a problem, so let's throw money at it. No, that's not how we solve problems, right? There's a problem, let's have a great idea. Now, those ideas may need some money to get off the ground, but let's break our mindset around money solves all problems. No, good ideas solve problems, and we'll help you have some money to get there. So, but no, there's no theme.
Can you tell me more about other past projects you've done? I'm actually kind of interested in that. Because the 2 projects you stated, that sounded quite interesting. The human library, I know that was a huge, that was in the daily bulletin board for like weeks on weeks.
Yeah.
And come down to the human library. I was like, wait.
You're like, I don't want to do that.
Like,
thank you. I'm busy.
It's been a month. Why is it still here?
Go away. Leave us alone. So here's the thing with the mini grants and why we've kind of morphed it into the student grant committee. The students will have big ideas and we will approve them, but y'all get busy. Right? And we get that. So it's like, Mr. Levesque, I got to get together with my team to do that next step in the mini grant, so I'll get back to you in a couple weeks. And I'll email them like, oh, sorry, finals are here. I'll get back to you. You guys, you have way too much on your plates, and grades come first, and we get that. So a lot of the mini grants, they'd start, but then they'd kind of sputter a little bit and just fall by the
derail.
wayside. Yeah. And I reached out to the students. One student wanted to do CPR classes, make them available to whoever wanted to take them.
Good idea.
Love that idea. And Gio, we all love Gio. He's a fireman on the side, so he would teach the classes and we would pay for the supplies. But the student just got busy, and then I remember when she walked across the stage for graduation, I thought, oh, that mini grant is not going to happen.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So it's okay, I get it. But that's why with the student grant committee, we'll talk about more hopefully in the next podcast. It's going to be more student driven. And we've got BLSA who said we want to start developing philanthropists at the school, students who are giving back actively. So they're going to put up a good amount of money. They're going to put up $10,000 for ideas for great impact. And I'm going to piggyback and say, well, the mini grants still exist. The Deitch is going to put up $6,000 for 3 2,000 mini grants. So the BLSA $10,000 will be towards impact, and the Deitch $6,000 will be towards innovation.
Okay.
So for the first one, it's far-reaching impact. What do we want to do with this 10 grand? For me, it's give me a clever idea, a unique idea, an idea that makes me go, that's clever. I like that. So I don't know if I answered your question in terms of ideas, but there's been a lot that have kind of fallen by the wayside.
Yeah.
I don't want to call anyone out, but they're all very well-intentioned. They got busy.
Some of them just don't happen. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, if it affected like their homeroom graders, I don't know. I get it. No judgments. I get it. You guys are worried about everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you have a grand idea, I mean, let me know. Absolutely.
Also, you said you had summer programs?
Summer fellowships.
Yeah, summer. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Love the summer fellowships. So, Ward is political government. CVAC, human rights.
Oh, actually, my brother did Ward.
Did he?
Yeah, Jake Moy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know where he was placed?
No, all I know is he just did some government work.
Some government work.
He's just like, Mom, I'm going to the State House. And he's like, I'll be back at 6. I'm going to the State House. I'm like, okay, bye. Bye.
Was he all decked out in professional clothes?
He's like, Mom, I need 3 dress pants and like 2 shirts. I need to do laundry now.
Your brother sounds like Will Ferrell in one of those movies. Mom,
I gotta go.
Give me some meatloaf. So the Deitch Fellowship. Oh, this is great. It's a spectrum of businesses, and we'll take any business. So Joe Deitch wanted students to understand that business is not just those things you see on TV, like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Right? So like high-powered investment companies. No, that's a business. And Joe Deitch owns an investment firm. But we have, so I'm looking at some of our past years' hosts. We had financial company, real estate development company. We had the fundraising company that worked with Latin to raise the Prima Perpetua campaign, the $50 million. They're called CCS Fundraising. They worked with Latin, so we sent a fellow to them. We have a college. We have a puppet showplace theater. We have the New England Conservatory of Music. We had a small data storage startup. We had the Perkins School for the Blind. Cabot Corporation, which is a multinational corporation. Blue Cross Blue Shield, I'm sure you've heard of that. Eversource Energy. So you see where I'm going with this. There's just a smattering of for-profit, non-for-profit, big, small, etc. And that's what Joe wanted. Oh, and the last one. I always like to have a dramatic pause before I say this one. The U.S. Attorney's Office.
Oh.
Because there's an alum there, and she connected with me, and now we have a fellowship there. So Joe, so the students will work at these organizations for 40 hours a week. But every Friday, I gather all of them. We have about 20, 24 students, depends on the summer. And we will go to each one of these organizations, probably one or two per Friday. So we'll plop down at Blue Cross, and then we'll grab some lunch in the city, and then we'll head over to the U.S. Attorney's Office. And they'll host us for a couple hours, and they'll say, welcome, Latin students. Here's what we do here. And for Joe Deitch, it was, I want to pull back the curtain on these organizations, show the students what they do, how they do it, kind of the real life of running this organization, be it a puppet theater or be it a multinational plastics company, an environmental company called Cabot. And so the students inevitably will say, I enjoyed my experience at my organization, but I love the field trips. That's why we do the field trips. And we have a great time. Like we're walking through Boston. It's like the ducks and the ducklings and like the public. Yeah, they're leading ahead and I'm following them. But yeah, we'll spend a couple hours, like I said, like a Blue Cross, and they'll learn about insurance and that whole process because it's all foreign to you guys, right? You don't do that paperwork yet. And they try to make it. I tell these host organizations, I'm like, you need to make this interesting. Like, don't lecture at my students; they will fall asleep. And they get it. So we do tours and we do activities, gorgeous buildings, and then we'll grab some lunch at Panera, and then we'll head over to the next spot, and then we'll do it all over again.
So this is all in one day?
Yes, sir. Every Friday we do this.
That's a lot.
And so Joe has two companies in this portfolio, and so we'll spend a day just with Joe, and they get to meet Joe Deitch and chat with him, and he's just a great guy. And he's easy and fun. He's like, please call me Joe, and sometimes he shows up in sneakers, but he's brilliant too, right? He'll tell about what Latin was like in the 60s and what it was like to be the founder of a company that's very successful and to also be the chairman of a real estate development company. Also to have, now I'm touting Joe, also to have been a producer on Broadway who won a Tony Award. And he's lived a fascinating life. He just wrote a book. Yeah, he's a fascinating guy. And when we meet him at his company, they spend a couple hours with Joe, we have lunch. He just kind of talks about life and business. And this is stuff that you guys don't get here at the school because it's a classic education here. Not to judge that at all. That's what you all should be doing here. But Joe's like, no, like they should also learn these other life things, if you will. So yeah, that's the fellowship. I think we have a great time. Applications are going to be coming out in January. So keep an eye out. Usually students are like, well, it depends on the organization they're still back. I'm like, all right, well, here's who we have. And inevitably they're like, U.S. Attorney's Office. I'm like, oh, you want to be a lawyer? I just want to work in the U.S. Attorney's Office. I'm like, okay, back up. Like the puppet show place theater is also brilliant. And usually I have one or two students who are like, yeah, I kind of want to work there. I'm like, you should. Like, puppetry is amazing. Anyway, so yeah, those come out in January.
But in the end, like all the students get to experience like the different businesses because you take like field trips to each place.
And the visits are all very different. Some are quieter than others. The buildings, like the Puppet Showplace Theater, is a very small Brookline, very intimate. It's nothing fancy. It's a nonprofit, and we get to talk about the nonprofit world. Now they exist on grants, right? And then we go to the Cabot Corporation, and they're in like the top floor in the Seaport. It's gorgeous glass and polished concrete, and it's a private company. I think they're private. I don't think they've sold shares. But you see my point. The students walk around, their mouths are open, like, whoa, yeah, amazing organization, a lot of money going through this organization. And then, like I said, U.S. Attorney's Office, high security, right? Everyone's in suits. There's some high-profile cases going through that building. Everyone's quiet. We're talking to judges, which is amazing. So yeah, every visit is very, very different. So, and then I pile on a little bit. I'm like, we're gonna do reflection pieces. I'm like, oh, come on, I'm like, no, we're gonna make meaning of all this. And then what I do at the end is it's only a couple of reflections. And at the end, I ask them, like, can you write me a nice letter to Joe? What have you learned? What do you appreciate about this experience? And I tell them, like, listen, like, Joe is a very real guy. Don't sit there and just thank him and praise him endlessly for this opportunity. Like, he'll appreciate a little bit of kindness. Thank you, Joe Deitch, for this. But tell him, what did you learn? Like, seriously, how have you changed the 7 weeks that you've been working here and going on all these field trips? The students will do that, and they're the most amazing letters. Because they're just sending it to me, and then I'm just kind of editing it and sending it off to Joe. And I get some really nice, honest kind of feedback. Like, I never knew. Like, you don't know what you don't know, and that sounds funny, but we don't know sometimes what's out there, and we do these experiences, and you're like, huh, interesting. I had no idea. You're like, yep, the fellowship has worked for that reason.
So, oh, you can go. No, I've been talking a lot. Yeah, you've just been sitting there. You've been sitting there. I'm like, dang. It's like you're gonna talk or no.
No, it's fine. This summer fellowship sounds really awesome. So it sounds like you're basically kind of exposing students to what's around the community, like all the different paths that they could possibly take to kind of expose them to the community, and that's really cool. Yeah.
It is, and students. What's interesting is I don't think students appreciate when you can check off something you don't want to do, right? And we'll do site visits, and they'll be like, "That was a good visit," and stuff like. But I know I don't want to be a lawyer now. Awesome. Like, their parents might not be happy, but I just appreciate the clarity. Like, I had no idea it's like this, or at least to be a prosecutor. I'm like, yeah, that's what it's like. 'Cause you just spoke with the U.S. attorney, like the attorney, like you just spoke with him, and they're like, yeah, I had no idea. I think I want to be a defense attorney. I'm like, okay, that's great, and I appreciate that to expose you all to real industries and real jobs. So you can say, I don't think I'm going to major in that now. Or I am now going to consider a major in this, or I am going to at least think about this college because I had a great experience working for this financial firm under Joe Deitch. So it's like, I don't think higher ed does a great job connecting, and I used to work in higher ed, and I love higher ed, but college universities, they educate students, and sometimes they form a bridge to industry and to professional jobs, but not always. I think that's more like graduate school. You really fine-tune your education towards a career path. Right. But a lot of students will major in whatever, humanities, creative writing, philosophy, psychology, amazing majors. I was a psychology major. But then they're like, what am I going to do?
With a psych major?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with a psych major?
And I had that thought. It's funny you say this. So I had that thought before I graduated. I got a bachelor's degree in psychology. And I think it was, March before I was about to graduate. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? You're like, oh, you can do a lot of things. I'm like, yeah, but I need something more focused. Yeah. So I got nervous. I stuck around and went to graduate school for business. Because I thought, well, business people have jobs. So why not?
Nice.
And so I'm trying to tell students, let me give you an exposure to real work in real industries. And maybe it just kind of clarifies what you're thinking for the future. And if that's the case, I'm happy. So, yeah, a lot of exposure to different things. Absolutely.
I think that's actually really great because I know a lot of kids coming out of high school, they'll go into like college undeclared.
Yeah.
And they'll take their gen eds for 2 years.
Yes.
And then they have to find out then they're scrambling to find out what they want to major in, what they want to do. And I think that's just like kind of a problem because then you're just wasting money in college, and that's a lot of money.
Yeah, you make a great point. The best advice I ever got from my brother, I was freaking out about my major and all that stuff. He's like, listen, you got to figure out the next 5 years. That's it. 5 years at a time. He's like, those 5 years will inform the next 5, right? And you talk to enough adults, their path to where they are now as a professional is not.
Yeah, it's not been a straight line.
No. Every once in a while it is. You meet that one oncologist who's like, oh,
they know what they want to do.
Right.
Like, they've been like
that. Yeah, and usually if you talk to them, there's a personal connection. Like, I lost an uncle to cancer or something like that, and it's always kind of been their passion. But most adults, like, yeah, I majored in X, and then I went to graduate school for Y, and my first job was in Z, and now I'm doing D for work. Okay. I was psychology, business, college, university, now high school. right? But I always had this thing about leadership education, so that was kind of the. But to your point, yeah, I mean, and it makes me sad when students, not when they're confused. It's okay, be confused, figure it out. But when they're seriously stressed and they're flipping out, like I have no idea what I want to major in. Like, we need to breathe. It's gonna be okay. It really is. But yeah, so if something like this program could give them a little bit more clarity, Joe and I are happy. We're happy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Come apply. I'm a good interview. I'm not an easy interview, but I'm a fair interview.
I still don't know what I want to do with my life.
Good. It's okay.
Yeah.
Sure, the next couple of years. So wait, what grades?
We're
we're all
Sophomores.
All sophomores? All right.
Got some time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Plenty
sure.
of time.
Yeah.
Plenty. All good. But here's what I would say to you. Here's my advice. Try things, do things.
Yeah.
Don't spend the summer playing Fortnite, please.
Oh,
Please.
Christ.
I
No, do Fortnite on the weekends. Have a great time. But you gotta, do a little study abroad, do this field trip, do this internship, do, blue collar work, do white collar work. Like,
Just get a taste of everything.
you
Yeah,
gotta,
exactly.
because then you're gonna walk away and go, oh, I like
That's
that.
cool.
Never thought I'd like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's
Or, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I have this love-hate relationship with politics, right? I worked on a state senate campaign when I was a junior in college. And I was like, politics is still fascinating to me, and I do not want to work in politics.
Yeah.
So I got to taste the realities. And I'm like, this doesn't feel good to me. It was too much sales.
Yeah.
It was a selling of ideas.
Yeah.
Right.
Selling of ideas, polish up the speech and do some focus groups, and it was all just, how's the candidate look, and it was too much image, and
It's not like genuine.
yeah, I didn't love it. So I mean, at the time I was frustrated, but now I'm grateful. I'm like, okay, I checked that box. I'm not going to work in politics. I get it. I watch it. I have podcasts about it, but I'm not going to collect my paycheck. So that was helpful for me to learn. So.
Yeah.
So do things next summer.
All right.
Please. Do things.
All right. Well, honestly, I'm out of questions now.
I guess we want to wrap it up, or
We can wrap it up.
Yeah,
This
we
has
can
been a
wrap
blast.
it.
I appreciate it.
yeah. So that has been it for the podcast with Mr. Levesque. Thank you so much for
My
coming
pleasure.
in.
Thank you.